Howdy y'all, and welcome to week 14 of Elementally Intuitive Movement 101 here on Coffee. And we are now expanding into our spheres, still stationary spheres, with our feet shifting orientation, but mainly staying stationary so that our bodies don't have to think about what's going on there, and we know that our feet are in an alignment that helps to support our knee joints so that the force is well distributed through the cartilage that helps to support our knees as we're moving and exploring space with those fixed bases, fixed foundations, and expanding out. Warm up with our O's, and adaptation being the foundation that we're focusing on now. And so level O, we're adapting to the hands connected. Level 1, hands are connected still, but to the body, except one hand can explore out freely. And then we feel how that changes and how our bodies have to adapt to those movements versus these movements. Level 2, we expand into our spheres. And now our bodies are adapting to the changes created by our arms that are levers. The closer in they are to our bodies, the less gravity is affecting them as levers, and thus affecting us to have to counterbalance for gravity's force pulling on our arms. So that's the body weight training that we're doing. We're also working on following those planes of motion, the horizontal, vertical, diagonal, and adapting to maintaining the planes with our arms far away from us, where gravity is really pulling down. It's not pulling down so much as attracting us to the ground, and then our muscles have to work against that force to hold the plane, and we get our body weight training exercises. Maintaining the lower body motion. Expand out slowly. Feel the difference between having your arms in close, almost level 1, almost touching, but not quite. And expand out and in, and then we're giving our bodies more to have to adapt to as we're practicing, going back and forth slowly. I'm wearing a mask today because there's a lot of cedar pollen in the air, and this is a great way to block it out, even though there's no one around for me to have to protect from my breath or protect myself from their breath. It does help protect me from the cedar pollen that I can visibly see in the trees. Orange. The outdoors is where I record. So I adapt and I put on my mask, which I've been doing for years now, this time of year, so that I can be outdoors and enjoy the outside spaces with less pollen in my face. Adaptation. As we add more curvilinear motion, we have to adapt more to those changes. Our bodies have to compensate for the changes. So we train ourselves to be adaptable to those different changes. We're building those maps of movement, yeah? We're adapting to different maps of motion, different routes, different avenues to move through space. We've been doing it the whole time. But now we're thinking about it and acknowledging it and recognizing it. And it's quite possible that by this week, you have noticed your body has changed in your everyday life and how you move through the world. Maybe you're quicker at catching something when you notice it falling down. Maybe you notice things more. Maybe you recognize your body communicating to you more often. Maybe you are more aware of the other vessels in your spheres and where they may be at, and how to hold space for ourselves and for them. Through practicing EIM and what we've been practicing consciously, it's helped increase our awareness skills. That's adaptation. We're learning. And we're applying it into our lives without having to think about it. It's intuitive. It's a nice side effect of elementally intuitive movement. By practicing mindfulness a few minutes a day, it increases our mindfulness the rest of the time as well. Because we're practicing adapting to being in motion as we're practicing mindfulness at the same time. The breath, the center, hinge, feet, knees. And adapting to our environment is needed, like wearing a mask if we need to. When I'm wearing a mask, I'm much more aware of my breath, because it's more comfortable in my mask if I am breathing through my nostrils more than through my mouth. Shifting the width of our stance is a basic part that's a part of this practice, adapting to moving through space with different foot positions and accessing space with our feet planted. In the process of doing that, establishing those routes of motion, mobilizing our joints, stretching, and supporting our awareness of what we are capable of, what we can do, how we can do it. The more often that we do it, the more we can. The more we maintain the ability to do. The more we continue doing it, the more we challenge ourselves with it. We adapt to our current level of progress and then challenge ourselves to make even more progress. Which with EIM is either going a lot slower, because it's very challenging to go slow. When we're going slowly, our bodies are adapting to holding those planes while gravity is really wanting us to come down. It wants, it's attracting. So our muscles get stronger. slowly moving through the planes, maintaining them as steady as possible. And as our muscles adapt to that force of gravity, they get stronger. So then we have to go slower to challenge ourselves. We can also add weight, but just our body weight is enough for us to slowly build strength. And we are still mobilizing. Can mix in some ones. Oh. The other challenge is speed. Bearing the speed. Adapting to the destabilization that we're creating by these very dynamic levers and these very dynamic motions that we're doing. Which really increases the cardio. So there we are, expanding into our spheres at level 2. Adaptation, week 14, elementally intuitive movement 101. On coffee, I'm Mar. Thank you so much. I hope you're feeling mobile and have a fabulous